Hi guys, before I go ahead and start the video, please go ahead and subscribe. Doesn't cost you money, but at least I would feel appreciated that the effort is being appreciated by everybody who's watching. So please go ahead and subscribe. So the topic I'm going to cover today is the change in the education system, much needed one. After 34 years, there's been a change in the education system. So let's dig into it directly. Okay, before we go ahead and dig into it, if you are a parent or a teacher, please watch the video till the end because there are certain points that has been covered which would be very important to you both as a teacher and parents as well. Okay, so the education system is going to be no longer 10 plus 2, but it's going to be 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Now I'll regularly refer to my notes so that I should not give you a wrong information here because it's related to our kids. So it's going to be 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, so the first 5 years, I'm dividing each part separately so that it gets easier to explain. Okay, first 5 years is from your nursery to second standard. Now in this section, what the government is saying is that the importance towards book would be reduced. Not that it would be completely taken off. The basic structure of teaching them language, A, E or ABCD, all these things would be done. But what would also be done is importance towards curricular activities, sports and everything would be increased so that a hands-on experience is happening towards the kids, which would let them remember everything that's being taught. If they just go ahead and learn whatever has been taught by mugging it up, they're bound to go ahead and forget it sooner or later. But this would be more towards a hands-on approach, hands-on experience, so that the kids would remember what they're learning. Okay. Second point here is that the teachers are given an option that they can go ahead and teach in the regional languages. So importance towards English is taken off. Okay, and regional languages, they can go ahead and teach in the regional languages. They can, it's not that they should, they can go ahead and do it. Okay, now the next 3 years is going to be third, fourth, fifth. Now let's call this the preparatory period, where the kids would be introduced to all these subjects like maths, arts, social science and humanities. So if this happens, that has to be done because sooner or later they'll have to pick all this. So they get introduced to subjects now. Okay, once they are introduced to the subjects, what they will also be introduced to would be things like computer coding. Okay, and all this. So this is important because China usually does this. China is one country which is excelling a lot, and they introduce their kids to coding. Even US does this at a very early stage. Now why coding is important or an internship is important is because it opens up your kids' brain analytically, and that would help them make decisions better. Yeah, so that is something that would be done. Okay, then they are introducing internship courses. So along with the subjects that they are learning, they can go ahead and choose internship in various subjects like carpentry, painting and all this. So while they are learning, they can go ahead and do this internship. This is at the second stage, that is from 6th, 7th and 8th. So if they get hands-on experience with maybe welding or even painting or even carpentry, that's going to help them a great deal, because life skills, they are learning life skills. What's the use if kids have been learning everything in school but doesn't even know to do basic stuff that's required in life. So this exposure is going to be given, wherein they would get into internship with regards to painting or music or anything as such, which is a very nice move. Yeah, and coding is again a very good move that's been done. Now the next stage is for 4 years. Yeah, now this is 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Instead of 10 plus 2, now it's going to be 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Biggest change is here, wherein these 4 years it's going to be semester based. So somebody who just mucks up stuff and vomits it during the examination is not going to excel. A kid who is smart and who is intelligent is going to excel. So you would have exams every 6 months. So if this happens, what happens is the kid has to study throughout the year, has to put effort throughout the year. So that's a very good move, and this is going to happen at the last 4 years, not from the initial stages. Okay, so that is one thing. The second stage, second change here is also that 360-degree assessment. Now the marks card process is going to be changed. It's not going to be that teacher just goes ahead and gives you a mark, you either pass or fail. The kid has to self-assess himself. His classmates would also assess him. So behavior, discipline, all these things becomes very important. So they're not only implementing that education should be given, you are creating good citizens as well. That would also come into picture here. So self-assessment, that is something which we'll have to do throughout our life. So kids would learn what self-assessment is at a very early stage. That is a very good move as well. Okay. Thirdly, once they're done with their 12th, importance towards board exams has been reduced. One, there will be a change in the board exam as well, wherein there would be objective answers as well, and not only just written answers. That is one thing. And the importance towards a cutoff for your CET or any competitive exams, that importance is taken off. Even if kid is not performed that well, okay, and is not scored enough percentage, it's not that he can't write these competitive exams. He can go ahead and write that. Now these 2 marks would be added together, and then they'll go ahead and accumulate these marks and then decide whether the kid can get his seat with regards to engineering or whatever he chooses, depending on how much he scores. That's a very good move. Yeah. Now after this, what happens after they're done with the 12th? Now let's say somebody gets into college. Now college is going to be 4 years again. When I say 4 years, the first year is going to be called certificate, the second year is going to be called diploma, third year is going to be called degree, and the fourth year is going to be called research. We had 3, now it's going to be 4. But the biggest advantage here is that if you start studying from your first year, you finished your first year degree, then due to some reason, maybe financial reason or some other reason, you had to take a break, you would still get a certificate saying that you have finished 1 year of degree. Okay, and there is a time period wherein within that period, if you come back, you can directly get into your second year. Okay, now if you finish your second year and then take a break, then that would be called diploma, and the same rules will apply. You follow the credit would be taken from your previous course, and you can directly get into your third year. Okay, and the fourth year. Now fourth year is going to be, third year would be considered degree. Okay, now a degree like we had and we still have, that would be what would be degree, and the fifth year would be called research. Now this is something which is newly introduced, which is very good, in fact, because research was something which was not given enough importance in India as such, wherein now we realize that if you don't give importance to this, inventions and creative mind, this doesn't get activated for kids. So that is something which is a very good move. And the biggest move which every parent would be happy with is now there would be a structure wherein a certain amount is fee would be fixed. Okay, so no college can demand as much as they want. There would be a fixed fee structure wherein you can charge a certain amount for each year. That's a big relief for every parent. I would agree with that. So now these are the changes that has happened. Okay, now I have 2 issues with this, and one important change that we as parents will have to do. Okay, now let's get into those things. First, let me get into the changes as parents that we have to do. Okay, now our responsibility as parents have increased big time, because now the choices that the kids have to make is not when they are 15 or 16, but at a very early stage. Now this is a stage where the kids are very mature, so we as parents have to guide them very thoroughly. It's not that I want my kid to be an engineer or a doctor, so you push him towards maths or push him towards some other subject which he is not happy with, or he will just agree because the father is pushing him or something, or she'll just agree because the father is pushing him. Don't do that, because we as parents will have to analyze what is my kid good at. whether he's good at maths, whether he's good at painting, whether he's good at carpentry, what is he good at, what is his creative mind towards, and push him towards that. As a parent, our responsibility has changed big time. So please make sure that we don't go through whatever our kids don't go through whatever we have gone through, because our time was when everybody pushed the kids to either become a doctor or an engineer or an MBA. These were the only three options that we had. Now that with the changes that the government has got, skill-based jobs would be at high priority. So please decide very thoroughly before going ahead and guiding your kid as to what needs to be chosen. Okay. Now, the second point that I wanted to make, the issue that I have with our government right now is that every policy that they implement, whether it was demonetization, whether it was CA, are very good policies. Even the education system right now is a very good policy. Okay. But the government is failing at the implementation stage. They are failing big time when it comes to the implementation stage. And that is main reason for that is not a strong opposition. Okay, that's something we have to get in a separate discussion altogether. But having said that, here it is our kids' future which is online. So I would request the government to be very careful with the implementation. Yes, the bill has to be passed through the parliament, and only then it would be implemented. But please be very careful when it comes to implementation stage, because it's our kids' future at stake. Yeah, thank you. And the second issue I have is with introduction of teaching in regional language. No, I'm not against any language as such, and it's not that I support English as much. In fact, I don't even talk to my son in English. I speak in our mother tongue itself. But the reason I have an issue with this is because at a later stage, when they come into work environment, communication becomes very important. Now, there's already a gap in the education system when you compare metropolitan cities kid with a smaller town kid, and communication skills is something which is lacking already big time. Okay, now when we do not give importance to one common language, now India is a country wherein we have different languages, and we have people from different region working in different cities. Now I have a North Indian working in Karnataka, and I have a South Indian working in maybe Delhi or something. Yeah, so what happens then is when you give importance on regional language, as a kid his grasp over a language which is not his mother tongue, because that's not spoken quite fluently at home, or not at all spoken in fact. Now the grasp on that particular language would be very less. So as a kid, he would find it very difficult. So we have to have a common language. That is why English would be preferred, and I think that is why it was preferred. But yeah, imposing that on kids is something which is completely wrong, I agree. But then introduction of Sanskrit is a very good change that they've got, because Sanskrit scientifically is proven that if you are practicing in Sanskrit, then it improves your analytical skills and all that. That is agreed. But then with regards to regional languages, that is something that they'll have to look into and give much clearer image as to what they're looking at. Okay. Now, third issue I have is that there's not much clarity given with regards to what is done towards the teachers. Okay, now the pandemic happened. Suddenly all the teachers were moved towards online teaching, and very well the teachers have gone ahead and accepted the change, and they're doing it. But then importance to teachers, we just say that Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, but I don't see this being honored either by the government or even the parents, in fact. Now I understand online classes, I'm not completely towards online classes. Live classes is something which I'm totally against, because when you're doing a live class, as a parent, one of them have to be there with the kids. So we are not able to plan, because even we are going through pandemic, even we are working at home. So online live classes is something, and some schools are even doing assemblies during these live classes. Continuous 4-5 hours of class, that's not going to work. Maybe recorded classes which are sent through WhatsApp or some other means. Maybe create your own app wherein all that is put into the app, and parents can go ahead and teach at their convenience. that would be a better option. Yeah, but then as teachers, there was a huge change that was asked to be done by them, right? And they very well adjusted to it. The online classes are going. Even here, there's not enough clarity given with the education department as to what are the changes they're getting into. The teachers, are they going to train them, or how they are going to prepare the teachers for the change? It's usually like हमने थोप दिया अब तुम कर लो. That doesn't work. Okay, when you can standardize the fee structure for the schools, saying the schools or colleges saying that you cannot take a certain amount, more than a certain amount. At least standardize the pay scale as well for the teachers. Most of them are not getting paid, or either getting paid half their salary. So standardize that as well. Now I understand it's a pandemic, that cannot be done, but when you can look at structuring the fee structure as well, why can't you standardize the payment structure for private teachers as well? Standardize it so that there are certain schools which are paying just 5 or 6,000 for these teachers, for that's their full salary, not even half salary, 5 or 6,000, and they need a job, they're doing it. So just saying Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara throughout, and not doing anything towards the gurus who are preparing the future of our country, is double standards by us as parents and as well as the government. So please look into the teachers' life as well. Okay. Hope the video has been helpful. And if you have any doubts with regards to this, please do comment so that I can go ahead and answer them through the comments, or if there is a second video required, I will definitely go ahead and do that as well. And guys, please subscribe. Takes a lot of effort to work on the video, research everything, and then go ahead and upload it, even with editing and all that, and I'm the only one who's doing it. It's not that I have a team, so it takes a lot of effort. So please do subscribe to my channel and support me to grow. Thank you.